Attorney Overton, welcome home. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speaker for the 78th Annual Opening Convocation, Attorney Spencer Overton. An honor graduate of Hampton University and Harvard Law School, Attorney Overton is the president of the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies in Washington, D.C. The Joint Center produces research and solutions on economic policy, workforce policy, tech policy, and diversity in congressional and presidential appointments. As a result of the Joint Center's research, the number of Black top staff in the U.S. Senate has increased by approximately 300% just since 2015. Attorney Overton is also a tenured professor at the George Washington School of Law and is author of the book, Stealing Democracy, The New Politics of Voter Suppression. He has written several academic articles and popular commentaries on voting rights, race, and public policy. He's testified a number of times before Congress, as well as made numerous appearances on national outlets such as NPR, MSNBC, and TV One. During the Obama administration, Attorney Overton served as Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Office of Legal Policy. In that position, he partnered with White House officials to lead the administration's policy efforts on democracy issues. Attorney Spencer also served on President Obama's Advisory Commission on Educational Excellence for African Americans. Attorney Overton is married to Attorney Leslie Overton, and they are the parents of two sons, Sterling and Langston I introduced a little earlier. So ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in welcoming back to our home by the sea, the 2021 Opening Convocation Speaker, Attorney Spencer Overton.
Now, first of all, I want to thank many of you all. In D.C., I'm often outnumbered by Howard grads. They needle me as a Hampton man, everyone from my own pastor to Vice President Harris. Right? So I want to thank many of you for this Washington Post headline. With Vice President Harris on hand at Audi Field, Hampton knocks off rival Howard. So thank you. Thanks for giving me a little ammunition. I appreciate it. So Dr. Harvey, thank you so much for the invitation to speak today and for making Hampton what it is today. Thanks also to the Board of Trustees, including Wes Coleman, Michael Armstrong, Sashi Brown, Calvin Butts, and Derek Lewis. And thanks to Hampton Vice President and Chief of Staff, Dr. Sharita Quimby, and Senior Class President Andrew Woodson. I'm also thankful for several Hampton grads who are currently students at GW Law who gave me some thoughts about today, Jayla Brown, Sydney Jenkins, and Brianna Oates. I want to also acknowledge my brilliant and supportive sister, Dr. Cynthia Overton. She is a 1993 Hampton graduate. And obviously, I got to pay my respects to my Hampton classmates of 1990 who supported and who shaped me. Dynasty, there can only be one. All right? But today, we're here to celebrate the graduating seniors and welcome the first years, Quintessence 11 and Quintessence 12. Now, y'all, while I have been both a senior and a first year, I wasn't in college during a pandemic. I didn't have to develop relationships with teachers and classmates during a quarantine, and I can only imagine the challenges faced by those of you who've had family members who may have lost a job or even lost their lives during this difficult time. So I'm sorry, my condolences. Now, these are grave challenges faced by college students of your generation across the country, but for those of you at Hampton, let me assure you, you're at the right place at the right time. Now, first years, you made the right choice in coming. You're going to have a great experience. Graduating seniors, you know, I've been out there, I've experienced life, and I've also taught 20 graduating classes of law students. And I can tell you, Hampton has prepared you to flourish in your next steps in life. I know this because Hampton literally transformed my own life. My family moved from inner city Detroit to a suburb when I was about 8. And I did well for a while, but high school was tough for me. To make a long story short, the suburban high school that I went to really was not built for black males. I was going through adolescence, and I skipped a lot of classes. Right? In my high school senior year, I failed English, and I had to tell my parents they wouldn't get to see me in a cap and gown marching with my class to graduate. I had to go to summer school to retake English, and my final cumulative high school GPA was 1.8. Fortunately, Hampton did not revoke my acceptance. Hampton gave me a chance. Hampton gave me mentors like Arna Bontemps, Burl Bowens, Alan Kalan, Lottie Knight, Mamie Locke, Felicia Mason, and Chuck Wooding. Now, these people could have been at many other universities, but they were at Hampton because they wanted to invest in the development of students like you and like me. They didn't typecast me. They saw the potential in me. At the same time, they didn't sugarcoat it. They gave me honest feedback to help me grow. I also learned a lot from other students who were a couple of years ahead of me. For example, during my first year, I wrote for the Hampton Script, which, as you all know, is a student newspaper. I looked up to the editor-in-chief, Jennifer Bourne. Jennifer, when I was a freshman, had just been accepted to Harvard Law School. She was a senior. She sat down. She gave me her playbook. Here's how to get a good GPA. Here's the best LSAT prep course. Here's when to apply, and so on. I followed the lead of these two types of mentors, the professors who'd seen quite a bit of life and understood the big picture, and the woman who was just a couple years ahead of me, but provided timely details about tackling the biggest challenges immediately in front of me. And I also worked hard because I was really afraid of failing out and having to return home. By the end of my first semester at Hampton, I'd earned a 4.0. 3 years later, I was admitted to Harvard Law School. Right? So, now the clapping is really for the institution, because this transformation didn't happen because I was special or smart or deserving. It happened because God brought me to Hampton, and because Hampton faculty and other students took an interest in me and laid out a path for me. By grace, I was in a position to receive and act on all the opportunities and support Hampton extended to me, right? Now was everything perfect, right? Well, I have some vague memories of long lines at the CAF, right? And some other things, right? But to be honest, right? Waiting in those lines was frustrating at the time, right? But it never affected my life long term. And to be honest, a good number of the real challenges that I faced while I was here, I brought on myself. But because of the faculty and other students at Hampton, I was always able to rebound, learn, and grow. This is a strength of Hampton, being taught by people who care about you. Now, I'm also confident that y'all will be well prepared when you leave this campus. I was nervous when I left Hampton and went to Harvard. But when I started my first year law school classes, I realized that I participated more than most students. Like the majority of my white classmates at Harvard Law, I came from a college where I didn't have to fixate on navigating racial boundaries every day. Instead, I could focus on classes, learning how to interact with my peers and professors, and finding my voice, right? And Hampton prepared me well for law school. My Harvard classmates elected me to student government. Professor Charles Ogletree hired me as his teaching assistant, and I graduated from Harvard Law with honors, right? Now, some of you may feel anxiety because you're unsure about the future. Now, I agree you should dream no small dreams. You should certainly have big goals. But it's normal if you don't have your entire life figured out right now, right? Honestly, when I graduated from Hampton and went to law school, I thought I'd go back to Detroit and be an elected official. But after law school, I got involved in local politics, and I just didn't like it. So I became a law professor so I could write, publish, teach, and speak out as an expert on voting rights. Now I run a think tank that provides a platform for other experts to shape the policy debate by providing research and solutions to elected officials. And this, kind of leading and growing America's Black think tank, gives me great professional happiness, but I couldn't have envisioned this as a goal when I was at Hampton or at Harvard. Back then, I didn't even know what a think tank was, right? I didn't know that think tanks drove public policy in America. I needed to have all the experiences I've had to appreciate the importance of a Black think tank and to have the skills to run it. So, stay encouraged. Know that it's okay if the plan doesn't initially work out, or if you don't initially get the job offer or grad school acceptance of your choice. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Just work so that you're prepared, so that when opportunities come along, you can take advantage of them. And graduating seniors, I'm also confident that you'll be ready to thrive because of Hampton's alumni. Yes, many are trailblazers in business, the arts, and sciences, like MSNBC President Rashida Jones, or comedian Wanda Sykes, or former Oracle CEO Charles Phillips. But even more important, quintessence 11, is that our alumni are generous and accessible to you. Countless Hamptons have supported me throughout my career. For me, a few just include Barbara Johnson, Yuli Boykin, Freeman Rabowski, Michelle Jawando. The list could go on, right? And obviously, we can't forget Jennifer Bourne, my mentor from Hampton, who was a couple years ahead of me. In my senior year at Hampton, when she'd gone on to Harvard, right, I visited Harvard Law School. And Jennifer made a point of it, to introduce me to the first Black president of the Harvard Law Review. Now, this guy was amazing, dynamic, smart. He was committed to community. He reminded me of a Hamptonian, right? We stayed in touch after law school, and I was very active in supporting his political career. And I was honored to serve in his administration. And, that student that Jennifer Bourne introduced me to would later become President Barack Obama. So quintessence 11 and quintessence 12, this is a moment of great uncertainty, but be encouraged. When the pandemic subsides, the world of work is not simply going to go back to February 2020, right? Many established workers who were used to doing things the old way will have trouble adapting to the post-pandemic world, as will many recent grads who did not have the Hampton experience. I know that you will be prepared to adapt, innovate, to thrive. I also know that you'll make many contributions to our community, our nation, our world, and that your lives will do great singing. Congratulations on all your work to get to this point, and have a great academic year. Thank you all so much.